Can I suggest a thing for The View? This is a suggestion I have. Men.
No chance.
Just men.
Every so often, someone delivers a roast so vicious, so accurate, that the target can do nothing but seethe and sputter in response. That's exactly what happened when comedian Tim Dillon set his sights on The View, and more specifically, Sunny Hostin. What unfolded was a masterclass in comedic destruction, a no-holds-barred takedown that left the polished veneer of daytime TV battered and broken. It began like any other day. The View rolled on, full of self-righteous speeches, shallow political hot takes, and the usual faux-intellectual grandstanding. Sunny Hostin, as always, led the charge with her signature mix of misplaced seriousness and smug superiority. But while Sunny was busy positioning herself as the voice of American morality, Tim Dillon was sharpening his knives. From the safety of his famously casual podcast setup, Dillon launched a blitzkrieg of jokes that immediately went viral. No script. No notes. Just raw, hilarious disdain for everything The View claimed to represent. His observations weren't just funny, they were devastating. He began by calling out the absurdity of The View itself.
I heard you put the call in to get Whoopi out of there.
Daytime TV, Dillon argued, used to be about cupcake recipes and harmless banter. Now, it was Holocaust debates at 11 a.m., self-importance and outrage before most people had finished their first cup of coffee. Why, he asked, were viewers being force-fed moral panic before lunchtime? And Sunny Hostin? She was the poster child for the problem. Dillon ridiculed the panel's constant moralizing while living cushy, disconnected lives. He joked about replacing the hosts with men, not because he was serious, but because the current format had become such a parody of itself that it hardly mattered who was talking. According to him, it would be an upgrade to have anyone, literally anyone, else discussing issues in a way that didn't feel so painfully rehearsed and disingenuous. Sunny, known for taking herself far too seriously, couldn't handle the mockery. She erupted. Sources close to the show reported that Hostin, already furious about mounting criticism from other comedians and commentators, saw Dillon's viral roast as a bridge too far. She allegedly fumed behind the scenes.
Happen. Yes, there is a chance, but it's not big.
What if I helped her? What if I was there? What if I was there
demanding that the network do something about what she described as dangerous disrespect toward women in media. But Tim Dillon wasn't done. In fact, that was just the warm-up. He went further, skewering The View's hypocrisy in brutal fashion. Why, he asked, does a show that claims to champion strong, smart women end up parading the most out-of-touch, corporate-approved voices imaginable? Why does every conversation descend into predictable groupthink, where dissenting opinions are crushed under the weight of Sunny Hostin's sanctimony? And he didn't stop at pointing out hypocrisy. He went for the jugular. Dillon ruthlessly mocked the show's complete lack of intellectual diversity, joking that you could replace the entire panel with cardboard cutouts and most viewers wouldn't notice. He hammered Sunny Hostin's obsession with identity politics, mocking her tendency to reduce every discussion to race, gender, and victimhood while living a life of luxury far removed from the struggles of everyday Americans. It wasn't just mean. It was precise. It was accurate.
Women watch it. See, that's the thing. It's like, it's a lot of it is women that are home, right, during that time. It airs during the day.
What if we put...
And most importantly, it was hilarious. Meanwhile, Sunny's allies on The View tried to rally around her. But the damage was done. The clips of Dillon's monologue exploded across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Audiences who had long felt alienated by The View's smug, elitist tone found in Dillon's roast a rare moment of catharsis. Here was someone saying exactly what they had been thinking for years. The View wasn't a beacon of enlightened discussion. It was a clown show, a poorly scripted play put on by people so out of touch they thought their performances actually mattered. And when Sunny Hostin tried to clap back publicly, it only got worse. She issued a vague, defensive statement about how women in media deserve respect, inadvertently proving Dillon's point. The reaction was swift and merciless. Commenters pointed out that Dillon wasn't mocking women, he was mocking her. He was mocking the corporate phoniness, the scripted outrage, the smug elitism that had become The View's brand. Trying to turn it into a gender issue only reinforced how detached from reality Sunny had become. The real problem wasn't that Sunny Hostin was a woman. The real problem was that she was a hypocrite. And Tim Dillon had exposed it so thoroughly that there was no putting the genie back in the bottle. In the days that followed, memes flooded the internet. Jokes about replacing the View's cast with random Uber drivers gained traction. Edits of Dillon's roast were remixed into viral music videos.
When I grew up, daytime TV was about like seasonal cupcake recipes.
Yeah.
Why are we doing a Holocaust?
Sunny Hostin found herself the butt of the joke in a way she couldn't control and couldn't escape. And that, perhaps, was the most satisfying part of all. Because for years, The View had lectured America about morality, intelligence, and empathy while embodying none of those values. They had confused wealth and fame with wisdom. They had mistaken privilege for virtue. Tim Dillon, with nothing but a microphone and a sharp mind, ripped away that illusion in minutes. It was brutal. It was hilarious. And it was absolutely deserved. Sunny Hostin's meltdown wasn't just about Tim Dillon's jokes. It was about the sudden, horrifying realization that millions of people agreed with him. That behind all the applause signs, behind all the fake smiles, a growing number of Americans had stopped taking The View seriously a long time ago. The show's influence was crumbling. Its self-importance was being mocked by younger, sharper voices who weren't afraid to call out the naked emperor standing before them. And Sunny Hostin, despite her desperate protests, couldn't do anything about it. Tim Dillon didn't just roast The View. He exposed it. And Sunny Hostin's furious, impotent response was the final, perfect punchline. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Tim Dillon went too far, or was this takedown exactly what The View needed? Can shows like The View still survive in a world where audiences are hungrier than ever for authenticity instead of carefully managed narratives? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm reading them all. And if you loved this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because trust me, the next big meltdown is already brewing, and you won't want to miss it.